Kirby Smart and the Dogs have landed a commitment today from one of the top overall players in the state. I'm talking about Jontavius Wyman. He is a do-it-all freak of an athlete in the 2026 class out of Jonesboro High School. I think he's being recruited at Georgia to play in the secondary. But I'm telling you what, this guy is one of my favorite players in the class for the state of Georgia in that 26 class because he can do everything. He scored 16 touchdowns last year in 5 different ways. I'm going to talk about all of that in just a second, but massive pickup. 6 foot, about 170 pounds. So he's not the biggest guy, but he's lean. He's got the ability to add more mass, more muscle over time, but the instincts, the ball skills, the big playability. This guy is a football magnet when he's not around the football. This guy, that the football finds him, and he was so good everywhere he lined up last year and did it as a sophomore. Crazy dynamic player. Again, you don't see a guy too many these days. That didn't sound right at all, but a guy who does everything well in all 3 phases of the game. In the secondary, where I think he's going to play in Athens, either cornerback, safety, nickel, this guy can play it all. So his versatility is what really stands out. He's got an impressive footwork. You watch him in coverage. He's balanced, plays underneath his feet, but shows good burst, reads the quarterback. Dude picked off 5 passes last year. I'm going to go over some stats right now for you, actually. 37 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, a turnover machine. Picked off 5 passes last year. Again, as a sophomore, took him back 161 yards. Yeah, he took 2 interceptions back for touchdowns, returned another fumble, back for a touchdown. Kid's electric. He's athletic, and when he has the ball in his hands, he is a threat to score at any point. He can make guys miss in the open field. He's ranked as the number 20 player in the state by me. I think he's number 21 by others. Let's look at that ranking right now. He's the number 15 cornerback prospect in the country, number 177 overall. I think he's better than that. The more I dug into his tape when I realized that he was likely heading to Georgia, this kid can play, and it is 7 minutes full of him making play after play in the secondary, at wide receiver, running back, quarterback, in the return game. He lines up everywhere, and he plays with a lot of really talented players over at Jonesboro High School. So, among a lot of really good players, he's standing out consistently. I believe he's a multi-sport star. I think he plays basketball down there, but you could see that natural athleticism. He knows what he's doing. In zone coverage at safety, he just closes so well deep down the field. He's a physical tackler, wraps up at the feet, but can be physical as well. But again, he's only going to get better when he adds more muscle, more mass. I don't know what his track times are, but he's got football speed. I know that. And in quick spaces in the return game, he's a natural. He can make the first couple guys miss, and then boom, he takes off down the field, can zigzag his way for a score. But again, this is obviously a guy that Georgia really likes, and it's early. It's the 26th class. He actually gives Georgia their second commitment in the 2026 class with 5-star quarterback Jared Curtis out of Nashville Christian, number 1 quarterback prospect in the country, number 7 overall player. It's still early. I've only had 2 cups of coffee today. My mind still needs to get going. But offensively, he caught 37 passes, 602 yards, 7 touchdowns. He carried the ball 10 times for 77 yards, even threw for just under 300 yards, 5 more touchdowns. So again, 16 touchdowns, 5 different ways. You don't find a lot of guys who do that. And he did it as a sophomore, playing in a really talented area south of Atlanta, Jonesboro. They have a pretty decent schedule. At least they play against decent talent. But again, he's got the length. He can run, and he plays with balance. He's got some good feet and the instincts. He reads the quarterback, and then boom, he's able to attack and get in position to make a play before most do. I mean, the guy moves and fast forward. So really like this pickup for Georgia. Still early in his recruitment, he had offers from Georgia Tech and Florida State, and I feel like a few more. But now it's hold on to him, right? You get these players on board so early. He's an in-state kid. Jonesboro is not super far from Athens. Someone in the area can let me know, but like hour and a half, maybe, right? So he is an in-state kid who's on board early, but a lot can change in a month and a half, as we've seen. But listen, Listen, as I talk about more about him, I have to plug collegebronze.com. Again, that's where you can get the #1 Bulldog statue on the market. Help your boy out. Look at this guy. You're going to love him. You're going to love him. So get yours today. Promo code DAWGPOST, DAWGPOST. That's the promo code. Don't miss out on the discount, okay? This is the #1 place where you can get a discount on the best looking Bulldog statue on the market. All in the description below in this video. That's where you can order, and that's where you can read all about it. So make sure you do that today. Thanks a lot. Okay, but let's talk about where Georgia is in the secondary right now. So they've got their first one on board in the 26 class. This 25 class, again, like I've said for a while, Shamari Earls is a big deal at cornerback, and you might be able to put the elite tab on him. I mean, 6'2", 205, runs, works hard, competes, makes plays. He's a guy who made a lot of plays offensively. These guys have hands too, by the way. And I'll say this quickly about Wyman. At receiver, he's a crisp route runner. Again, the quick feet and the ability to change direction stands out everywhere. Offense, defense, special teams with this kid. He gets it. He understands his role. He understands the game, but he can leap. He can run, he can catch. There's several plays where he's, Randy Mawson, a defender in front of him, making a tough contested catch, catching the ball at the highest point. He works the sideline well. He can get a foot down when he needs to. There's just a lot to like about him, and his ability to elude defenders and make plays after the catch, whether it's, after the catch or in the return game. He can break tackles as well, just because he does stay so balanced and he's so quick that it's hard to get a real tough, direct hit on him. But, he can still pick up yards after contact as well. But Shamari Earls is a big deal. Rashad Johnson and Jalen Morgan, two promising safeties who know how to hit, know how to tackle, know how to wrap up, and who will only get better in coverage when they learn the playbook under this staff that really knows what they're doing. Todd Robinson is another that they've got, another do-it-all athlete, really. I don't know if he plays as many positions as Wyman. I don't believe so. He's mainly a quarterback down at Valdosta, but another guy with strong ball skills who can make a lot of plays in every aspect. He's electric. With the football, guys are just different, and Jontavius Wyman is one of those guys. So it's going to be tough for anyone, I think, that they signed to play early in the secondary, because again, it's not ideal outside of that 2014 class. KJ Bolden, Ellis Robinson, those guys are going to play this year. But after that, because of the talent they have brought in the last two recruiting cycles, it's going to be tough to break out and play early enough to earn a starting job, I think, with that 2025 class and this 2026 class. So they're providing a lot of depth, a lot of guys with a high ceiling, a lot of potential. And I think that's going to take them a long way. Kirby Smart said last week, worried about the depth in the secondary, and that's why we're looking at playing a couple freshmen. But they're trying to load up because they play a lot of guys, right? They try to match with the offense, whatever they do. And in an era of college football where you got receivers and weapons all over the place, you need to have athletic defensive backs who bring a level of physicality as well, who know how to tackle. These offenses get the ball out so quick now to the perimeter, screen game, short passing game. You don't want to get sacked. Those are drive killers. So more and more we're seeing quarterbacks where it's go to the first read immediately. If it's not there, it is the second. After that, you run or something, right? And a lot of the time it's out in the flat or, quick, passes to the outside. If you're a cornerback, if you're a safety coming down, you have to be able to shed blocks now and hold your own, or else it's an easy 10, 15-yard, gain. We saw Georgia do that so easy, getting it out to Ladd McConkey or someone who's running behind either Bowers on the outside or Marcus Rosemary-Jackson, or a couple years ago, Darnell Washington was getting out and blocking. And when you can have guys block on the perimeter, if that cornerback doesn't shed that block and make a tackle, again, those are easy yards that offenses can pick up. So if you want to play at Georgia, you definitely need to have some size. You have to be able to cover, know what you're doing. And you can learn, those fundamentals and learn the playbook and learn what the staff wants you to do. But you have to have a level of physicality. You have to have length too. They're big on length, and ball skills. And a lot of these guys that are bringing in, especially Jontavius Wyman, they're their newest commitment in the 26 class. This guy can catch it. So he plays the ball like a receiver. And he can play multiple positions, and I guess it's going to be up to him. They want to cross-train a lot of guys. That's how you confuse offenses. This guy knows how to play corner, nickel, safety, whatever. you mix and match when it's appropriate, and you can really do a lot of damage to an offense and get them confused. And Wyman is a guy that they can spread out. But big time pickup for Georgia and Jontavius Wyman, one of my favorite athletes in the class of the 26 class. Thanks for watching. Get your Bulldog today, and I'll see you over on the website.